Hello everyone, welcome to Chapter 3, Section 2 of the online video course, Chinese Traditional Culture and Spiritual Healing. My name is Wen Chao, a teacher at Guangdong University of Foreign Studies.
Professor, most of us have ordinary jobs. How do we make ordinary jobs extraordinary and gain a sense of achievement?
If you leave it to others to judge whether your work is ordinary or not, it's hard for you to gain a steady sense of achievement. As mentioned in my previous classes, there are 3 types of business in the world: your own business, other people's business, and the business of God. To judge whether we are good or bad, it is other people's business. It is unnecessary to have expectations for others to be in line with your own ideas or behaviors, not to mention letting others decide whether you have attained a sense of achievement. This is what Zhuangzi called truly independent, which means that we need to be the best of what we can and do not depend on others. Therefore, if you want to gain a steady sense of achievement from your own career, you need to first understand that it doesn't matter whether people consider your career and performance average or not. Worldly views divide careers into ordinary and extraordinary ones, or low-level and high-level ones. But in the view of Tao, these careers are all equivalent, which is the so-called Dao Tong Wei Yi. Many of my friends who have been to European countries and the United States are impressed by a certain phenomenon in these countries, that some who are at what some consider to be the bottom of society, such as cleaners, gas station attendants, shopping mall promotion workers, are content and confident. At work, the smiles they wear are especially sunny and come directly from their hearts, and are thus particularly infectious. This sense of identity with their occupations, the positive self-awareness, and considering their jobs to be equal to any other occupation, are, in my opinion, close to the selfness of Tao. The important thing is how we can satisfy ourselves and make ourselves feel fulfilled. To achieve this, the first key is passion. If we have passion for our jobs, even an ordinary one, we can still gain a full sense of achievement. Cook Dean was just a butcher, and the cicada-catching, bent-backed old men were just farmers. However, with their persevering love for their cause, they not only gained immense happiness and deep insight, but also achieved a career that even the ruler and Confucius admired. In Zhuangzi's view, the happiness one attains from doing what he likes is far greater than the happiness obtained from success when he is dominated by the success doctrine. As the former is stable, inwardly demanding, and under one's own control, in doing what he likes, a person is already richly rewarded with inner pleasure. External recognition is thus of less importance, whereas the latter is flustered, outwardly demanding, and impermanent. No one can constantly be successful, strong, and isolated from frustration, as our mood will always be fluctuating between the joy of success and the disappointment with failure.
Professor, what if my career is chosen by my parents? Or perhaps I have to choose it for some reason, and I just fail to love it.
It's very lucky for a person to have a career he likes. There may not be many such lucky people in the world. If you are a person who has a very firm understanding of what you like and what you are good at, I suggest that you stay true to your heart and do what you love, even though it is less likely to be successful in the eyes of the world. Nevertheless, if you don't like the career your parents or your fate has arranged for you, and you don't have a clear idea of what you are passionate about or what is fit for, you may try to find meaning in your current career and make yourself fall in love with it. I think that's what the courier Li Qingheng did. I have read such a story. A woman named Salma accompanied her husband to be stationed on an army base in the desert. As her husband often had tasks to do, Salma not only had to endure the difficult living conditions, but also felt very lonely due to the language barrier. She couldn't help but write to her parents, who wrote back to her. Two men looked out of the iron windows of their cells. One saw the earth, whereas the other saw the stars. After reading the letter, Salma was enlightened and decided to find her own star in the desert. She began to learn the local language, study plants in the desert, and watch desert sunsets. As a result, her life became colorful. Afterwards, she even wrote a best-selling book out of her life. In the book, the life experience that was supposed to be dirt turns out to be as glittering as stars. Passion sometimes can be cultivated, as long as you discover its meaning. Therefore, there are two ways to achieve self-pursuit in life. One is to engage in the cause that we love. The other is to love the cause we are engaged in. The second key to gain a sense of achievement is concentration and engagement. Passion alone is not enough. We need to put it into action and do a good job, applying our attention firmly to it. Focus can lead to great efficiency. For example, a man goes to drill a well. If he hammers here and there haphazardly, he will not get a drop of water. But if he perseveres to drill a well, then he may get not only water, but also oil. Cai Zhizhong, a famous cartoonist, once said that time is a process of calculus. If an hour is worth 10 yuan, split it into 2 half hours and it may not be worth 5 yuan. And for 15 minutes may not even be worth 1 yuan. Conversely, 10 consecutive hours are worth tens of millions of yuan. Continuous accumulation of time can generate an exponential multiplying effect. You probably have heard of the 10,000-hour rule. The 10,000-hour rule was put forward by the writer Gladwell in his book, Outliers. He wrote in it, "The reason why geniuses in people's eyes are extraordinary is not that they are endowed with higher aptitude, but that they have made sustained effort. 10,000 hours of training is required for everyone to go from mediocre ones to world-class masters." Focusing on what you love, in addition to being greatly productive, can also be enormously enjoyable. In psychology, there is an important concept called flow, which was put forward by the positive psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. Flow refers to the state where a person, on the premise of self-consciousness and spontaneity, shows a strong interest in a certain activity, devotes himself to it entirely, gives full play to his advantages, and enters a state of complete immersion. To put it simply, flow is a state of mind where a person is fully engaged in something. Flow involves feelings like pleasure and selflessness, and is accompanied by a high degree of excitement and fulfillment. In flow, one is heartily aware of the passage of time and changes in his surroundings. Time flows like water through one's life. In the creation and appreciation of works of art, flow is common. In the movie The Shawshank Redemption, what happens when the tragic hero plays and enjoys the opera in the warden's office is flow. Also, flow at work is not strange. Nobel was so obsessed with making explosives that although his younger brother was killed in a chemical plant explosion, he could not stop himself from returning to the laboratory. Edison was so fascinated with inventing electric lamps that he, in 13 months, had experimented with nearly 1,600 kinds of materials before finding a suitable method. It is the reward of flow that encouraged Nobel and Edison to overcome so many difficulties and reach the summit of their careers.
Professor, the protagonists of these examples of flow, Nobel and Edison, are all extraordinary. Their careers are also lofty. I am just a very ordinary person with a very ordinary job. Can I possibly reach the state of flow?
In Mihai's famous book Flow, to illustrate the phenomenon of flow, he mentioned an old Chinese story in particular, and that is the story of the cook Dean. Is the bloody and daunting slaughtering work a lofty occupation in the eyes of the world? Certainly not, but the cook Dean turned it into a hearty solo performance. With his elegant moves, the sound of the knife made when he untangled the bull was like a beautiful piece of music. For the cook Dean, this process involved no blood, but happiness and beauty, which even stunned the ruler. Is courier a high-class profession in the eyes of the world? Certainly not, but Li Qingheng can be completely devoted to it. Isn't this flow? With passion and focus on action, even an ordinary life can therefore become extraordinary. Before we finish, I have a question for you to think about. You can see it on the screen now. Please pause the video to think about it and continue when ready. Do you agree with Zhuangzi that the happiness one obtains from doing what he likes is far greater than the happiness obtained from success when he is dominated by the success doctrine? Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.